It began on a day the sky turned dark, as strange barriers erupted across the world. But these barriers were not meant to protect. They were gateways for an invasion that followed. The world was plunged into chaos, and the creatures that came through knew only destruction. A vortex of energy tears through the streets, and a mother gives her life for her son, Itsuki, a memory seared into his mind forever. He's pulled back to reality, just another student spacing out. A classmate's voice cuts through his daze, asking if he's okay. She points out the single tear running down his cheek. His friend tries to distract him, pointing out the sudden school assembly. On stage, a speaker recounts the history of the Awakened, identifying the man as Izumi Nento, a famous commander. His friend explains that despite his strange appearance, he was the first awakened, and his student is the strongest of them all, the light of humanity. The commander reveals that ordinary people can awaken their powers by touching the very monuments the invaders brought with them. But the assembly is violently interrupted by a flash of golden light. The students erupt in a frenzy of excitement. His friend grabs Itsuki, thrilled they finally have a chance to awaken. He drags our boy towards the monument, eager to join the line. But the girl from before senses a chilling change in Itsuki's demeanor. A dark smile crosses his face, his eyes glowing with a sinister red light. The awakening ceremony begins, with students placing their hands on the stone. But hope quickly fades as even the most promising candidates are turned away. The guards show no emotion, simply calling for the next person in line. The students realize this isn't the power-up giveaway they were hoping for. A new name is called out from the crowd, Oishi Hikaru. The crowd whispers nervously. The school bully awakening is a terrible idea. But as he touches the monument, blue lightning erupts around him. A status window confirms it. A powerful lightning elementalist is born. Watching from afar, a woman in armor reports his stats, sounding utterly unimpressed. Oishi celebrates his new power, seeking the commander's approval, but his moment is cut short by a hand grabbing his shoulder. He whips around, his face twisted with rage at the interruption. It's Itsuki, who calmly walks past him to the front of the line. On stage, an armored figure senses an overwhelming emotion from the boy. Itsuki touches the stone, his eyes glowing red with a resolve forged in hatred. The armored figure's eye widens in disbelief. A colossal spectral warrior materializes behind him. The stone unleashes a pillar of pure energy that blossoms into a lotus of light over the school. The students are stunned, his awakening dwarfing Oishi's. Even the commander is intrigued, recognizing a rare phenomenon. Oishi can only watch, his face a mask of pure jealousy. Itsuki finds himself in a tranquil, otherworldly space. He floats at the center of the glowing lotus at peace. A status window appears, revealing his job, Order Breaker. His skill is revealed, but his stats are all 0. Then a special gift called Nirvana activates, and he realizes he has his own unique path to power. A new resolve burns within him to fight the invaders. Back in reality, the light from his awakening is blinding. At the center of it all stands Itsuki's silhouette. Oishi can only stare, his own awakening now a footnote. The armored woman reports his stats are unbelievable for a rookie. Even the commander acknowledges the truth. This boy is the strongest new awakened in history. A final status window confirms it. His stats are all a perfect 200. The entire school erupts in cheers for their new hero, all except for Oishi, who seethes with jealousy. He declares that a loser like Itsuki has no right to this power, and prepares to unleash his newly acquired skill, Silver Serpent. But as the attack launches, a system window appears before Itsuki, analyzing the incoming skill. His own unique ability, Over Mimesis, begins its analysis. The lightning serpent strikes the ground where he stood, but Itsuki has vanished, leaving his friends in a panic. A shadowy figure appears behind Oishi, who is frozen in absolute terror. A chilling voice whispers a threat right in Oishi's ear. The bully's legs give out, collapsing in a heap of fear. The analysis of the C-rank skill completes in seconds. A system window confirms it. Thunderbreaker has been acquired. The crowd can only stare in disbelief at the sudden glow. Itsuki realizes he's pulled into this mental space after every analysis. A window details his newly acquired skill, which grants stat boosts, healing, and the ability to absorb lightning. Back in reality, he unleashes waves of brilliant blue energy. Oishi watches in horror as Itsuki wields a power far greater than his own, but the celebration is cut short as the sky suddenly darkens. A massive crackling monument plummets towards the school grounds. The armored woman orders an immediate evacuation, realizing the invaders are here. Her subordinate panics, suggesting they should retreat as well. But the commander notes that Itsuki is more composed than any of them. As the students flee in terror, our boy walks calmly towards the danger. The monument slams into the earth, sending a shockwave across the courtyard. His friends try to pull him back, but a dark resolve has taken over Itsuki. They plead with him, reminding him he's just a rookie awakened. He simply turns to them with a calm gaze, asking for their trust. His friends reluctantly retreat, warning him of the danger. But Itsuki watches them go with a chilling smile. He realizes this is the very creature that killed his parents. A system window identifies the monster, a level 8 skeleton soldier. He decides it's the perfect time to test his new power. The skeleton lunges forward with a blade of bone, but Itsuki meets the charge head-on, vowing that he won't let anyone else die on his watch. His lightning attack slams into the beast, sending it flying. The professionals can only stare, realizing their evacuation plan was a bit premature. The commander explains the creature has 2 dangerous abilities, the second being a deadly skill called Bone Fire. His friends scream his name, watching in absolute terror. Oishi, however, watches with a twisted grin, enjoying the show. But inside the inferno, his unique skill begins its analysis. He realizes direct contact with an enemy skill accelerates the process. The armored woman is stunned. Even a level 10 awakened couldn't survive that. As the flames consume him, he finally understands his mother's pain. An image of her face, half consumed by fire, flashes in his mind. But the commander watches intently, realizing Itsuki hasn't even shown his true power. The analysis hits 100%, and he vows that the creature is finished. An official laments his misplaced faith, just as the blue lotus reappears. Itsuki emerges from the flames, wondering what new power he's gained. He's acquired Black Wall, a skill that fully heals him and boosts all his stats. He finds himself once again in that tranquil space, floating peacefully within the glowing blue lotus. His friends erupt in cheers, witnessing his miraculous recovery. The armored woman is baffled by his healing, a power separate from his lightning. She can only wonder at the true extent of his mysterious abilities. Back on the battlefield, the skeleton soldier roars with renewed fury. A new power awakens within him, manifesting as black ice. His body is wreathed in a brilliant blue aura. Crystalline armor forms across his body, a look of pure focus in his eyes. He launches himself forward, a living bolt of lightning. The skeleton soldier is thrown back by the sheer force of his charge. He summons a massive blade of black ice from the ground and brings it down on the creature with devastating power. His friends can barely follow his movements, which seem like teleportation. Even the professionals are stunned, questioning if this is really a rookie. They realize he can create weapons and armor at will, a perfect fusion of offense and defense. The battle ends, and his friend's voice brings him back. He's pulled into a relieved hug, but his first thought is for Saya. He learns she wasn't there, having watched with a terrified expression. He scans the crowd, wondering if he somehow upset her. Meanwhile, the armored woman is still processing his impossible victory, and decides then and there to take the boy with her. His friend tries to reassure him, suggesting Saya went to awaken, but their conversation is cut short by an imposing voice. The commander, Izumi Nento, now stands before him as the crowd whispers. His friend, clearly intimidated, makes a hasty exit. The commander holds up his strange weapon, calling Itsuki special. Itsuki is confused by the strange compliment. The commander senses the deep anger and hatred, and asks to know the reason for his rage. Itsuki begins to explain, his face shadowed by the past. 10 years ago, his parents died protecting him. He was saved by an awakened in the chaos, but was forced to watch his mother sacrifice herself. A traumatic memory seared into his young mind. His parents died because of the invaders. He remembers screaming in defiance at the source of all evil, a monstrous being that towered over his childhood. His eyes burned with a hatred that would define his life. And on that day, he made a solemn vow to destroy every last one of the invaders. The commander notes that even now, tears fall from his eyes. Itsuki explains that only one eye cries, a constant reminder of his hatred. Seeing this resolve, the commander offers to make him his student. He can join the Salvation League, an elite army of awakened. The perks include immense wealth, a tempting offer for anyone. But the commander clarifies that such a life isn't without its price. Itsuki isn't interested in the money or the fame. All he wants is the chance to fight on the front lines. The commander explains the brutal tournament that selects only the top 100. He's hesitant to even mention the all-time high score, a staggering 115,000 points set by Taewajin 11 years ago. Itsuki recognizes the name, the legendary Light of Humanity. The commander warns him that comparing himself to a legend is a path to despair. But Itsuki, suddenly looking like a pro bodybuilder, declares he'll surpass him. A flicker of surprise crosses the commander's face. The commander muses that simply following a legend isn't enough to win. He believes he's finally found the one who will surpass the old sun. They arrive before a massive, dome-like structure. The commander explains the monuments are endless portals for the invaders. This building contains those portals, turning them into training grounds. Itsuki realizes it's a training facility, which the commander calls stages. But this one is notoriously deadly, known as the Rookie's Graveyard. A record shows the legendary Taewajin cleared it in 3 minutes and 14 seconds. The commander challenges Itsuki to clear it in under 3 minutes, and if he succeeds, he will officially become his student. As they walk through the facility, whispers follow them. Itsuki seems oblivious to the commander's fame. A monitor displays the challenge, a level 10 disaster beast. The onlookers assume he's not going in alone, or just there to flirt. He steps up to the reception desk to register for the stage. When asked how many are in his party, he simply replies, "Just me." The receptionist is taken aback by his solo entry. She scolds him, assuming his confidence is just a bad pickup line. The crowd laughs, enjoying the spectacle of another rookie getting shut down. But Itsuki clarifies his intentions are purely professional and, frankly, a little insulting. The receptionist sighs, offering her number if he'll just go home. But Itsuki's patience is wearing thin, his only focus on the challenge ahead. Startled, she finally relents, warning him not to blame her for his death. The crowd mocks his decision, calling his challenge a suicide mission. Some wonder if his special gift is enough to make a difference. But others know that at such a low level, it's a meaningless advantage. He scans the bracelet, and the system grants him access. Inside the chamber, he cracks his knuckles, ready to begin the test. The timer starts, his 3-minute window now officially open. And in a flash of red light, he explodes into action. He finds himself in a vast artificial field, a monument looming ahead. His senses sharpen, anticipating the first wave of enemies. A level 4 Kodama erupts from the ground, its stats appearing before him. Without hesitation, he summons a blade of black ice and cleaves the creature in two with a single brutal swing. He then forms a massive axe ready to do some serious deforestation. An entire horde now surrounds him, but he shows no fear. Outside, the armored woman questions the commander's choice of stage. He explains that to surpass the legend, one must transcend humanity itself. She recalls seeing Jin's eyes once, cold and solitary, not human at all. She recalls Jin's eyes, saying they were like those of a god. The commander agrees Itsuki has potential, but is still an unpolished gem. He sees Itsuki as Jin's opposite, a demon fueled by pure hatred. Meanwhile, Itsuki realizes his copy skill won't work on these weak monsters. Suddenly, the true boss of the stage emerges from the darkness. He launches forward in a blur of motion, ready for a real fight. But the beast falls just as easily, leaving him unimpressed. He senses something is wrong, just as a system window appears. His overmimesis has detected a B-rank skill, self-regeneration. The analysis begins, and Itsuki turns with a look of surprise. The beast's head reforms from its wooden body, much to Itsuki's annoyance. A status window confirms its powerful self-healing ability. He blocks the creature's attack with his newly formed armor. Realizing he needs overwhelming force, he leaps into the air. He becomes a whirlwind of blades slicing through its defenses. A massive blade of ice crashes down on the beast. The monster is cleaved in two, but it's not over yet. With a manic grin, he decides to turn it into sawdust. He holds the two halves apart, preventing them from rejoining. The creature shatters into 1,000 glowing fragments. He stands among the debris, realizing his black wall is draining his magic. But the fragments begin to reassemble into a far more monstrous form. The beast is relentless, and he realizes its regeneration speeds up his analysis. He forms a new plan: conserve magic and dodge until the copy is complete. But with the 3-minute time limit ticking down, he knows he has to act fast. So he decides to go all in, activating both skills to force the issue. He knows if his magic runs out before the analysis is done, he's finished. A risk he's willing to take, pushing forward with everything he has. His eyes burn with that familiar red hatred as he prepares a final strike. He brings a blade of pure energy down on the creature's head. He grits his teeth, pushed to his absolute limit. Impaled and out of magic, the analysis is stuck at 99%. But he realizes his copy skill doesn't need magic to finish. The analysis completes and a new skill is born: Lotus Burst. A system window details the powerful area of effect attack. It also comes with a full heal and a massive stat boost. The beast can only watch as Itsuki activates his new power. He clasps his hands, channeling the explosive energy. A fiery lotus erupts, consuming the monster completely. The creature is reduced to nothing but dust and embers. Itsuki reflects on his powerful new skill, Lotus Burst. It left a massive crater, a testament to its raw destructive force. He's surprised to find his magic fully restored, and then he spots something new. Outside, the receptionist panics as the timer ticks past 2 minutes. Even the armored woman doubts he can clear the stage in under 3 minutes. But then, a system notification flashes across the main screen. The entire crowd stares in disbelief at the sudden announcement. The armored woman can't believe what she's seeing. The monitor confirms it. A new record of 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Itsuki collapses, having not only passed the test, but shattered the Legends record. The crowd is in an uproar, unable to process how a level 0 rookie beat the Legends record by a full minute. Itsuki turns to the commander and asks if he can officially receive his guidance now. With a confident smirk, he addresses him as teacher. The commander accepts, praising his new student's performance. The armored woman is surprised to see her father so pleased. The onlookers now understand. He's the commander's student, but they still doubt his future growth. The receptionist from before approaches with a gift, apologizing for her earlier rudeness. Itsuki accepts, admitting that her concern was actually a kind gesture. His simple thanks leaves her completely flustered. The commander informs Itsuki that he's now ready to challenge advanced stages. He explains that a monster's level isn't the only thing that determines its strength. The most important factor is its species, with some being mindless brutes. But others possess intelligence equal to or greater than humans, making them far more deadly. The armored woman adds that while they are similar, only humans possess jobs. She reveals that his next destination is North District 4, home to these advanced stages. Itsuki's eyes glow with a cold blue light as he asks a chilling question. Can they feel pain? The armored woman is stunned by the terrifying aura suddenly radiating from him. Elsewhere, other awakened gossip about the commander's dangerous assignment. One mentions the name Kinoshita Reiji, but is quickly silenced by his terrified friend. We're introduced to the governor's son, Kinoshita Reiji, a man who clearly has his priorities straight. His bodyguard asks when he'll be leaving for the stages, but Reiji is in no hurry. He scoffs that waiting in line is for commoners. Back with Itsuki, the receptionist opens her gift for him. Inside is a small glowing stone which he immediately recognizes. The commander asks if he's seen a karma stone before. Itsuki explains that a similar item dropped in the stage, though the one he found was much larger and green. The armored woman is stunned, identifying it as a rare find for a rookie. She begins to explain that karma stones are essentially experience points. She explains that karma stones are basically crystallized experience points. A way to level up, but she notes they shouldn't form naturally. She theorizes its existence is tied to Itsuki's unique gift. The commander points out that Itsuki didn't level up after his battles. Itsuki is confused, asking what she means by gift. The commander explains that the karma wasn't absorbed by its victor. The karma from the school attack was dispersed among all the awakened there. But inside a sealed stage, it had nowhere to go and became a stone. She then asks the obvious question. How do his stats increase? The commander cuts her off, reminding her that a gift is a private matter. The commander tells Itsuki he'll be away for a while, but leaves him with a few simple rules to follow. Itsuki accepts the terms with a confident grin. Meanwhile, at the North District 4 training grounds, a group of awakened are furious that the stage is reserved for a rich kid, but their complaints are cut short by a menacing presence. A massive bodyguard sends one of the men flying. He moves with brutal, overwhelming force, and a single punch is all it takes. The man's friend can only stare, realizing his B-rank skill was useless. The bodyguard's eyes glow red as he boasts that the attack was nothing. The attacker is horrified, realizing his powerful skill had no effect. The bodyguard grabs him by the head, ready to end the confrontation. He's slammed into the ground with enough force to knock him out cold. Onlookers identify him as Oga Takeru, a level 12 gold elementalist. He holds up his victim, warning anyone else who dares to challenge him. He makes an example of them both, leaving them defeated on the floor. Another group of goons mockingly tells Takeru not to go too far. Takeru scoffs, tossing the man aside like a piece of trash. Just then, Itsuki and the armored woman arrive on the scene. The crowd whispers, certain the level 0 rookie is about to die. Takeru warns him to turn back, saying no one enters without permission.
Itsuki calmly states that he'll have to go through him then.
He stops the armored woman, his eyes glowing as he recalls his teacher's words. He tells her to handle the injured while he handles this. Takaru is stunned by his audacity, seeing his level 0 status. He scoffs at his own hesitation, confident his level 12 stats are unbeatable. His eyes narrow, ready to crush this insolent rookie. But in the reflection of his eye, he sees Itsuki already rushing forward to attack. Itsuki's fist connects with a blur of motion. The crowd can't believe his speed, questioning how a level 0 could move so fast. But his punch lands on a face that has turned to solid metal. Takeru's metallization skill has completely nullified the attack. The bodyguard grabs his fist, acknowledging his speed, but scoffs at his lack of power, sending him flying with a single kick. Itsuki realizes he'll need to use Thunderbreaker to keep up. A system window appears, confirming his overmimesis has begun analyzing the C-rank skill. The fact that his copy skill activated means this guy is a genuine threat. He decides if he can't break the metal, he'll just aim for the flesh. Itsuki plants his foot, ready to change tactics. Takeru scoffs, calling him a weakling with no power or speed. But that was the plan. Let him drop his guard, then activate Thunderbreaker. A lightning-fast fist slams into his gut before he can even react. He unleashes a barrage of strikes, the analysis climbing with every hit. The onlookers are stunned, questioning how a level 0 can be this fast. Takaru panics, realizing he has no time to activate his defense. He desperately tries to call for help, but his goons just watch in shock. Pushed to the brink, he decides to use his final trump card. His body begins to transform, his muscles swelling with raw power. Takeru reveals he's metallized his entire body, and with his gift, his defense is now over 500. He promises a swift end as a thank you gift. You know, standard villain hospitality. The onlookers are certain that no one can break his guard, but Itsuki calmly deduces a critical weakness. Realizing Takeru's magic must be dangerously low, he promises to end this quickly, just as the analysis hits 100%. The familiar blue lotus reappears, signaling another power-up. The crowd wonders how this strange lotus can possibly help him. A system window confirms it. He's acquired Clear Orb, a defense-ignoring attack. He realizes the skill's only weakness is its incredibly slow speed. But against a living statue, he vows to shatter that absolute defense. It also comes with a full heal and another massive stat boost. Back in reality, he's wreathed in a brilliant blue aura. He holds out a small orb of energy, activating his new power. The onlookers are hyped, certain this must be an incredible technique. The orb floats forward, a tiny sphere of concentrated power, drifting slowly through the air towards its target. The crowd's excitement quickly turns to disappointment. How anticlimactic. Takaru scoffs, mocking the tiny attack and Itsuki's naivete. He mocks the attack, calling it Itsuki's pathetic trump card. He promises a pathetic end just as the orb touches his chest, but his absolute defense shatters like glass. The attack erupts from within, tearing through his metallized body. Itsuki calmly explains that he held back, aiming for the arm instead of the neck. He turns to the stunned goons, telling them to get their boss to a hospital. His patience wears thin as he tells them to get lost. The terrified bodyguards scramble to carry their defeated leader away. The crowd erupts in cheers, celebrating the bully's downfall. His victory immediately attracts offers from other Awakened to join his party. They warn him about the next stage, where every monster is as tough as Oga. But Itsuki sees this as the perfect opportunity to level up his new skill. The hopeful party members eagerly await his decision. But his answer is simple. He's going in alone. The crowd is stunned, certain his victory has made him arrogant. The rejected party members walk away, calling him strong but too proud. Even the armored woman questions if his magic can last against so many foes. She gets flustered, insisting she's only concerned because her father would blame her. She offers one last warning about the monster's group tactics. He simply acknowledges her words and scans his bracelet, entering the stage. Inside the stage, Itsuki notes the sheer number of enemies. He's surrounded by stone beasts, far stronger than anything he's faced before. A system window identifies them as level 9 stone statues with massive defense. He decides to test his new skill, Clear Orb, on these lumbering foes. He activates the power, a small sphere of purple energy forming in his hand. Just like before, the orb drifts slowly towards its target. But its power is absolute, punching a hole straight through the monster's core. A system window confirms his theory. The orb's speed doubles with each kill. He turns to face the rest of the horde, a new confidence in his eyes. He realizes these slow, powerful creatures are the perfect prey for his new ability. The system confirms 2 more kills, doubling the orb's speed again. He stands over the wreckage, calculating his dwindling magic. With 3 enemies left, he realizes he needs a 2-for-1 special. He summons another orb, determined to thread the needle. The orb blasts through the first statue with ease, as Itsuki dodges the second monster's attack. A look of fierce concentration crosses his face. The orb curves, striking the second target and clearing the field. He collapses, completely out of magic. So much for a victory lap. But he's satisfied, noting the orb is now fast enough to hit moving targets. A system window confirms the orb ignores defense and gets faster with every kill. But just as he's catching his breath, a massive shadow falls over him. The ground erupts as a colossal foot slams down right where he was. The stage's true boss appears, a level 15 stone golem with absurdly high defense. With no magic left for his orb, he activates Thunderbreaker to boost his speed. He stares up at the behemoth, wondering if a single well-placed shot could end this. He decides to aim for the head, hoping to find a weak point. He spots an opening and launches himself into the air, summoning one last clear orb. But he realizes the orb is too small. It'll pierce the stone, but won't be a fatal blow. And now he's a sitting duck as the golem swings its massive fist right at him. He activates Black Wall at the last second, bracing for the colossal impact. He's driven into the stone fist, realizing this beast is tougher than he thought. But his copy skill activates, detecting the golem's B-rank gigantification. A grin spreads across his face. If its size is just a skill, this fight is winnable. Elsewhere, a man in a suit receives some shocking news over the phone. His boss, Kinoshita Reiji, silences him with a glare of pure annoyance. The man apologizes, prompting Reiji to ask what could be so important. He reports that someone defeated Oga and entered the reserved stage. Reiji is enraged, questioning how Oga's legendary defense could have been broken. The bodyguard reasons that high-level awakened are busy elsewhere, and insists that no mere rookie could have defeated Oga. But Reiji cuts him off, deciding they'll head there immediately. His eyes glow with rage as he demands they leave now. The bodyguard can only sweat, terrified of his boss's temper. Reiji vows to make whoever crossed him regret it. Meanwhile, Itsuki's analysis completes and he's relieved the chase is over. The stone golem stares down at him, its core glowing with power. A system window reveals that instead of a new skill, his clear orb has leveled up. He realizes its passive speed boost has doubled, and he can now control its size. A system window confirms it. Clear orb is now level 2, granting a full heal and another stat boost. He decides to test its new size limit, pouring all his magic into one final attack. The colossal orb descends upon the golem and punches straight through its core, shattering it completely. He lands with a smirk, wondering if he overdid it. His magic is completely drained. The system confirms the kill, and the crater is a testament to his new power. Back outside, he calculates the orb's new speed, which is now as fast as a car. He looks at the Karma Stone, finally realizing the importance of his skill's passive effects. He connects the dots, realizing his Lotus Burst skill should also boost Clear Orb's range. A system window confirms it. Every kill with Lotus Burst permanently increases the range of all his skills. He realizes that with enough kills, he could take down monsters from miles away. The stage clear notification flashes, confirming a new record of 3 minutes and 1 second. The onlookers are stunned, realizing he beat the legend's record yet again. As he walks out, they question how a level 0 could be so powerful. The armored woman greets him, impressed that he cleared it unscathed. She notes how surprisingly quick his victory was. He casually explains the monsters were weak to his defense-ignoring attacks. Suddenly, a glowing green butterfly flutters between them. She reveals her job as a Shikigami user, and this is her familiar. Itsuki is captivated, seeing a Shikigami for the very first time. Itsuki asks about the different kinds of awakened jobs, a question she finds surprisingly basic. She explains there are 4 main types, and he's already encountered 3 of them. The first and most common are elementalists, masters of the 7 core elements. His classmate Oishi was a lightning elementalist, and the bodyguard Ohga was a gold elementalist. The second type is the Shikigami user, who can summon powerful familiars. She introduces herself as Izumi Choha, revealing her own Shikigami as a B-rank beast. She pauses, asking if he's following along so far. Itsuki bluntly points out that her Shikigami is a higher level than she is. Choha is comically offended, realizing this kid has absolutely no filter. She confirms his theory, explaining that Shikigami level up independently. Itsuki's eyes narrow with a chilling realization. Always target the user first. Choha is once again unnerved by the dark aura seeping from him. But Itsuki is already moving on, impatiently asking about the other jobs. She continues, explaining the third type is the most mysterious and least understood. It's a job he knows all too well, his own, the order breaker. She explains that each one has a completely unique ability, like his blue lotus. Other order breakers can change their size, create clones, or even stretch their bodies. While normal jobs have skills ranked C to S, order breakers possess a unique Z rank. This is why their abilities are kept secret, and why her father stopped her questions. She notes that even among order breakers, he's an anomaly. He silently hopes she doesn't reveal too much about his powers. He quickly changes the subject, asking about the final job type. But she teases him, saying he'll have to see one for himself. He relents, and she asks what he plans to do next. He wants to run the stage again, but she reveals they have cooldowns. He realizes if he can't level Clear Orb, he'll focus on Lotus Burst. So he asks for a stage with a massive number of monsters. A sly grin crosses her face. She knows just the place. The Locust Wasteland. A stage so packed with enemies that most awakened turn back in fear. Choha questions his plan, unaware of his powerful area of effect skill. He simply reassures her, his confidence unshaken by the warning. The crowd whispers in fear, certain this will provoke Kinoshita Reiji. And right on cue, Reiji's team arrives to find their target gone. He's enraged to learn the rookie cleared the stage in under 30 minutes. His face twists with fury, feeling like he's been made a fool. He orders his men to track Itsuki down using any means necessary, and vows to capture him alive to teach him a lesson in pain. Meanwhile, in a dark alley, an assassin regrets taking his latest job. He realizes he barely escaped with his life using a special technique. He believes he's finally reached safety after a narrow escape, but his relief is shattered by the lunge of a monstrous wolf. The beast pins him down with terrifying force, its red eyes glowing. A calm voice tells the creature, named Death, to ease up for a moment. The terrified man can only ask how he was found. A figure in a trench coat explains that his hound has a very sharp sense of smell. He introduces his familiar hound Charles, who can sense the smell of death, a very specific and not at all creepy talent. The assassin breaks down, pleading for his life. But Charles explains that letting him go would anger Mr. Kinoshita. With a cold look, he gives the order for his hound to begin its meal. The hound lunges forward, its fangs bared for the final strike. A status window confirms the Shikigami has leveled up from its meal. Charles reports to his boss that the job is done, but he's shocked to learn that Oga was seriously injured. He turns to his hound, announcing they have a new target to hunt. Meanwhile, Itsuki and Choha arrive at the Locust Wasteland. Our boy looks at the endless fields, skeptical of the stage's name. Choha explains that the environment is a clue to the monsters within. He notes the lack of a reception desk, and she sighs, explaining this place is slated for demolition. She clarifies that unlike other stages, there's no escape from this one. Choha explains that the monsters here are unusually aggressive and numerous. She warns that a single moment of weakness will get you swarmed and devoured down to the very bone. But Itsuki just smiles, calling it the perfect training ground. He calmly reassures her that he has no intention of becoming bug food. She watches him step into the portal, thinking his confidence is reassuring. She tries to wash her hands of it, insisting it's his own responsibility. But then she panics, realizing she forgot to mention the endless spawns. With a look of resolve, she decides she has to go in after him. But her path is blocked by a man in a trench coat and his monstrous hound. Charles greets her with a sinister smile, explaining he's looking for someone. Meanwhile, inside the stage, Itsuki surveys the desolate landscape. He claps his hands together, confidently announcing his arrival to the local pests. He notes that while the monsters are individually weak, they're perfect for leveling up his Lotus Burst. System windows confirm his assessment, identifying the creatures as low-level evil locusts. But what they lack in strength, they make up for in numbers, filling the sky in a massive swarm. This, however, is exactly what he wanted, as he summons his fiery Lotus Burst. He knows that the more they cluster together, the more effective his attack will be. As the swarm descends upon him, he unleashes his power at the perfect moment. A system window confirms it. Lotus Burst activates, consuming the entire horde. System windows confirm kill after kill, each one boosting his skill range. He stands in the aftermath, the battlefield littered with defeated foes. A status window confirms his Lotus Burst has leveled up, its range now over 10 meters. He calculates his remaining magic, realizing he can unleash this power many more times. His only regret is the cooldown timers on these stages, slowing his progress. But something is wrong. The stage clear notification hasn't appeared. Instead, his overmimesis detects a new C-rank skill, Mother's Will. He turns with a start, realizing there's still a survivor. The ground trembles as a new wave of locusts emerges from the earth. He's caught off guard, his armor barely forming in time to block a surprise attack. He knows he can expand his skill range, but the boss is nowhere to be found, so he decides to flush it out by wiping out all the small fry. He unleashes another fiery Lotus Burst, and the system confirms a massive boost to his skill range. His Lotus Burst is now level 2 with a diameter of 16 meters, but even after clearing another wave, the boss is still a no-show. Then from strange glowing pods, a new swarm begins to hatch. They spawn again, and his analysis of Mother's Will continues to climb. He checks his magic, calculating he has enough for 9 more attacks. He vows to destroy them no matter how many times they reappear. He clenches his armored fist, ready to wipe them all out. Another Lotus Burst incinerates the swarm, the system confirming each kill. He unleashes a relentless barrage of fiery explosions. A status window confirms his skill range has increased by a staggering 90%. But after 9 waves, he only has enough magic for one final attack. He looks up in frustration as the swarm continues to pour from the sky. With the boss still hidden, he considers a tactical retreat, but quickly dismisses the thought, calling it a coward's move. His eyes burn red as he summons his final ounce of power and unleashes one last, desperate Lotus Burst. He's on his last legs, completely out of magic, but the swarm is endless, their numbers never dwindling. He realizes something is off. All the monsters are newly hatched. He finally understands the boss's true ability: infinite reproduction. A system window confirms it's a queen locust, spawning endless minions. He's out of magic, but the analysis is almost complete. The analysis completes, granting him a new skill: magic detection. It not only detects enemies from over a kilometer away, but it also restores his magic with every ping. Talk about a game changer. He decides to end this quickly, remembering Choha is waiting outside. His stats get another boost as he begins to scan for the boss. Waves of pure energy ripple out from his position, revealing the queen locust hiding deep beneath the ground. His eyes lock onto the target, the hunt now over. With a confident smirk, he prepares to end this once and for all. He summons his clear orb, knowing her children can't protect her now. Thanks to his passive skills, his attack has more than enough range. A system window confirms it, a flight distance of 120 meters. The orb of pure energy slams into the earth with devastating force, and the queen locust is obliterated by the direct hit. The remaining locusts are no match for him now. With a confident grin, he declares the battle is over. He easily cuts through the disorganized swarm. Without their queen, the locusts fall into chaos. He promises to send them all to join their mother. A real family man, this one. A system window confirms the massive power-up, with his skill range now boosted by over 1,200%. He's pleased with the results and plans to grind this stage even more. He finally exits, surprised it took him 17 minutes, and worries about Choha. He knows she'll probably act cold and distant when he gets back, but he finds her tough girl act kind of endearing as he prepares to greet her. But his eyes harden with a familiar cold fury. He finds Choha held captive by the man in the trench coat. Charles explains he was trying to get information out of her. Itsuki orders him to let her go, promising a swift end. But Charles just laughs, mocking the level 0 rookie's confidence. In a flash of blue lightning, Itsuki closes the distance. The man is stunned by his speed, calling for his hound. The monstrous wolf intercepts the blow with its powerful jaws. A system window confirms it. His copy skill has activated. He realizes the hound is a Shikigami, and the analysis begins. Charles notes the boy's incredible speed and efficiency. He scoffs, confident with a hostage and his hound, Death. Itsuki screams her name, his hand locked in the hound's jaws as the analysis climbs. The monstrous beast struggles against his grip, its fangs inches from his face. Charles smirks, certain his hound's bite can crush any defense. But his confidence shatters in an instant. Itsuki summons a clear orb, forcing it past the creature's teeth. The orb detonates from within, a blast of pure energy. The Shikigami collapses, leaving its master completely defenseless. You hate to see it. He turns to face the user, who can only stare in disbelief at the rookie's power. But Charles is confident, knowing his hound has a B-rank respawn skill. The beast revives in an instant, lunging forward as its master taunts Itsuki. But our boy is one step ahead, activating his magic detection. He easily evades the hound's attacks, the analysis climbing with every move. He knows he has to end this before the Blue Lotus reveals his trump card. Charles begins to panic, realizing he's completely outmatched in every way. He resorts to his last option, threatening Choha's life if Itsuki moves. But it's too late. The analysis hits 100% without the flashy light show. A system window reveals his new skill, Shikigami Eater, a power that's basically Grand Theft familiar. He's learned to control the power-up's visual effects, gaining another massive stat boost. He realizes skipping the Lotus means no recovery, but he's already at full power. As the Hound lunges, he understands his new skill. He can steal Shikigami. A blue aura surrounds him as he prepares to use this new power. With a look of pure fury, he declares he's taking the man's dog. The Shikigami is enveloped in a vortex of blue energy. He then sends Charles flying with a powerful kick. The man can only curse his familiar for its failure. Desperate, he grabs Choha and threatens her life. But Choha tells him not to worry about her. Itsuki immediately raises his hands, telling the man to leave her alone. Charles smirks, taunting him for his defiance. Itsuki calmly asks why he's being targeted. The man reveals he's here on the orders of Kinoshita Reiji. Itsuki recognizes the name, deciding he needs to speak with this guy. But Charles has other plans, threatening Choha's life, and ordering his hound to cripple Itsuki. He tells his Shikigami to prove its worth. The monstrous hound lunges forward, its eyes glowing with malice. But in a shocking twist, it turns on its own master. Charles can only scream in disbelief as his own familiar attacks him. Itsuki praises his new familiar for a job well done. He holds Choha, vowing to return the pain 100 times over. Charles begs for his life, trying to strike a deal to lure out Reiji. Itsuki's eyes glow red as he seems to consider the proposal. The man sees this as an opening, a wicked grin spreading across his face. He lunges forward with a crystalline weapon, aiming for a fatal blow. But Itsuki is completely unfazed, stating he can handle Reiji himself. He orders his new hound to give Charles the same treatment Choha received. The man's face contorts in terror, pleading for just one more chance. But the monstrous hound lunges forward, ready to carry out its new master's command. Charles can only scream in disbelief, asking if his hound has forgotten its master. The hound's only response is a final, merciless lunge. But Itsuki's attention is already elsewhere, calling out to an unseen observer. He demands they stop hiding and reveal themselves. From the tall grass, a hidden figure stirs. A young man in a hood and mask steps out, admitting he's been caught. Itsuki immediately questions his allegiance, asking if he's another one of Reiji's men. The newcomer panics, insisting he's not an enemy. With no time for this, Itsuki tells his new pet to finish its snack and catch up. The stranger watches him go, realizing this powerful boy might be his only hope. The stranger introduces himself as Iberia, praising Itsuki's fight. He offers payment for help, suggesting karma stones or weapons. But Itsuki just walks away, leaving Iberia to question his father's advice. He recalls a lesson. Compensation must be tailored to the need. For the vengeful, a blade. For the wounded, medicine. A look of understanding dawns on Iberia's face. He points out that with an injured companion, time is running out. He then reveals he has healing items, holding up a glowing scroll. His offer to save Choha finally gets Itsuki's attention. Itsuki turns back, a flicker of hope in his eyes as he asks if it's true. Iberia explains he can't heal her completely, but he can save her life. He begins wrapping Choha in a special bandage, a rare karma tool. Itsuki's confusion tells Iberia everything he needs to know. Our boy is a rookie, so he gives him a quick lesson. Modern weapons are useless against monsters, but special crafters can forge karma tools which come in 4 ranks. Normal tools are basic, but rare ones can boost the user's stats. Epic tools come with powerful special effects like self-healing. And unique tools, the ultimate goal for any crafter, grant legendary power. He explains that crafters are rare and highly respected by all awakened. Itsuki asks if his father is a crafter, and Iberia proudly clarifies he's one of the best. He boasts that his father crafted 3 of the world's unique tools, earning him the title of the Crafter King of the Northern Continent. But his epic monologue is completely lost on Itsuki, who isn't even listening. Our boy is far more interested in the crossbow left behind by Charles. He realizes this weapon could help him conserve magic and hide his true power. Iberia explains it's a rare karma tool that can turn anything into ammunition. The crossbow then vanishes, linking to Itsuki and storing itself away. Itsuki thanks him for the help and declares his next target is Kinoshita Reiji. Iberia is stunned by his audacity, but Itsuki has no time for warnings. But Iberia clarifies that if Reiji is the target, then they share the same goal. Iberia clarifies his offer. He wants to team up for the upcoming tournament preliminaries. He explains that the venue is in North District 4, Reiji's home turf. As the administrator's son, Reiji is under immense pressure to make the top 10. That's why he's monopolizing the stages, but Itsuki wonders why he's being asked to help. Iberia insists it's because Itsuki is strong, but our boy questions his urgency. A shadow crosses Iberia's face as he begins to explain his motivation. He recalls watching his father craft magnificent karma tools as a child. His dream was to one day wield those weapons against the invaders. But when he finally awakened, his father deemed him unworthy. He was given one condition: pass the preliminaries and he'll earn his father's gift. And that's why he has to win this year's preliminaries no matter what. Itsuki is skeptical, pointing out he has better options than a level 0. But Iberia explains his father's one condition: prove himself without help. He adds that most of the strong awakened have already been bought by Kinoshita. But then he heard about a rookie who defeated Oga and shattered records. Itsuki agrees to the team up, but his first priority is getting Choha to a hospital. Iberia is already brainstorming duo names, much to Itsuki's silent suffering. As his new partner rambles on, Itsuki can't help but wonder about his old friends. Elsewhere, his friend Rikuru lets out a sudden sneeze while training. He tells his companion that Itsuki must be talking about him somewhere. We cut to Saya, who wonders how long it's been since she last saw Itsuki. Rikuru teases her, asking why she didn't go see him after the school attack. Her only response is a sudden blast of water magic. He dodges, but she reminds him that in a sparring match, any opening is fair game. Their instructor arrives, scolding them for fooling around before the tournament. Their stats are revealed. Both have awakened and are ready for the preliminaries. Elsewhere, a hand carefully selects a karma stone from a briefcase. Kinoshita Reiji wonders why his hound-using subordinate is so late. He crushes the stone in a fit of rage, absorbing its power. He dismisses his missing man, his focus now entirely on the upcoming tournament. His subordinate reports that he's successfully recruited 87 powerful awakened. Reiji commends his work, holding another karma stone in his hand. He absorbs its energy, feeling his power surge as he levels up. A status window confirms he's now a level 12 elementalist, more than enough to crush his rivals. Elsewhere, Itsuki arrives at a medical facility, a blue aura swirling at his feet. He apologizes to his teacher, blaming himself for what happened to Choha. The commander offers to dispose of the man who attacked her, but Itsuki looks up with cold resolve, asking to handle it himself. The commander agrees, telling him to report back when it's done. Iberia watches from the side, finally realizing Itsuki's teacher is the legendary Izumi Nento. Itsuki finishes explaining his new partnership to the commander and Choha. Choha reassures them she's fully recovered thanks to her Shikigami and Iberia's help. The commander recognizes the rare karma tool, deducing Iberia's lineage. Iberia is impressed by the commander's knowledge, feeling the need to act dignified. He then confidently declares that he is in fact his own father. Smooth. The entire room falls silent as Choha points out his obvious mistake. Mortified, Iberia corrects himself, admitting Aiden is his father. The commander thanks him for saving his daughter and offers to visit Aiden with him. He then dismisses the two boys, reminding them of their tournament preparations. Iberia promises victory, while Itsuki simply looks on with his usual stoicism. Choha notes her father has taken a special interest in Itsuki. The commander explains that Itsuki's trauma gives him self-destructive tendencies, but those impulses fade when he has someone to protect. That's why he tasked Choha with being by his side, to become the person he would want to protect. He then reveals the school attack was a planned act of treason. He warns that humanity's future looks bleak, but he believes Itsuki will be the one to light the way. A new light of hope for the world. The scene shifts to the tournament venue in North District 4. The crowd is massive, with thousands of new faces joining the tournament. All because Commander Izumi is rumored to be watching, much to Reiji's annoyance. His men are marked with red ribbons, a detail not lost on the other contestants. The host of the preliminaries steps forward to explain the rules of the game. The first stage is a massive arena, with Itsuki and his old friends starting on opposite sides. It's a simple race to the center, where only the top 50 will advance. The participants realize just how brutal this first elimination round will be. As the host declares it an all-out battle, Iberia points out their main rival. The rules for the second stage will only be revealed to the survivors. And Reiji gives his team a simple order: make sure no one gets past him. Iberia lays out his plan to ambush Reiji's forces once they're inside. But his brilliant strategy is cut short by a look of pure panic. He's been overheard by Reiji's men, who are now very curious about the kid without a red ribbon. But before any pleasantries can be exchanged, the host's voice booms and the first stage begins. Watching from above, Commander Izumi notes the impressive turnout, but knows that numbers mean nothing without quality. A man beside him, Hiten Akira, recalls that his year had far stronger participants. A flashback reveals he and the legendary Taewajin were the only two rookies that year. Akira laments the lack of a new legend, but the commander reminds him that geniuses are rare. An imposing armored figure then asks the commander about the rumors of his new student. The commander confirms it's all true, piquing the interest of the mysterious official. The official notes that this new student is only the second person Izumi has ever taken on. Akira scans the list of participants, trying to deduce who it could be. He dismisses Itsuki's friend Rikuru, a level 10 with an ordinary gift. He also rules out Saya, a support-oriented elementalist. His eyes land on Hanyu Kana, a wood elementalist with an unusually high level of 16. But the commander tells him he's wrong, much to Akira's surprise. He then reveals there's a level 0 among the participants, which Akira dismisses as a yearly joke. Down below, Reiji's men mock Itsuki, asking if the level 0 kid got lost. But Itsuki simply raises his arm, revealing the crossbow he acquired from Charles. One of the goons recognizes the weapon, demanding to know who this rookie really is. Itsuki's eyes glow as he asks if they've been looking for him. The goon refuses to believe a level 0 could have defeated Oga. He orders his men to attack, confident in their numbers. One of them unleashes a lightning attack, eager to end this quickly. But Itsuki stands completely unfazed by the display of power. He calmly assesses their levels, offering them a chance to surrender. Iberia worries, certain that even Itsuki can't handle all of them alone. He decides he has no choice but to use his own trump card. The leader of the goons scoffs, disappointed by the level 0 trash, but Itsuki grabs his arm with a single, chilling command to move. The goon's face twists in disbelief, which quickly turns into mocking laughter. Iberia watches, ready to step in at a moment's notice. The man reaches out, vowing to see what's inside the rookie's head. But a fist connects with his jaw before he can even finish his threat. Itsuki stands over his fallen opponent, his eyes glowing as he repeats his command. Iberia is stunned, realizing Itsuki just took down an opponent 7 levels higher. The other goons panic, trying to convince themselves it was just a lucky shot. One of them summons a B-rank fire skill, vowing to burn Itsuki to a crisp. The attack engulfs Itsuki's silhouette as Iberia watches in terror. The goons celebrate, callously dismissing the attack as overkill for a level 0. But their confidence fades as they realize something is wrong within the inferno. From within the flames, Itsuki is revealed, protected by a wall of black ice. Iberia grins, his faith in his new partner completely justified. Itsuki simply tells his ally to stay back and let him handle this. A system window confirms his black wall skill blocked the attack, boosting his defense. He analyzes the result, wondering if the passive effect can be stacked. The attacker is stunned, unable to comprehend how he's using an ice skill. Itsuki then challenges him to try again, promising not to block it this time. Enraged by the taunt, the goon prepares to unleash his power once more. He unleashes his strongest technique, a B-rank flamethrower. But Itsuki stands within the inferno, completely unimpressed by the raw power. His allies realize the attack is far stronger than it should be. The goon drains his magic, certain this overkill will end the fight. But he's suddenly sent flying, his face a mask of disbelief. Turns out it wasn't quite overkilled enough. Itsuki confirms his theory. The passive defense boost doesn't stack from the same attacker. With his test complete, he declares it's time to finish this. The goons are horrified, but one of them thinks he's found a weakness. He unleashes a barrage of fireballs, a B-rank skill of his own. But as the attack surrounds him, Itsuki simply activates his black wall once more. The fireballs detonate around him in a massive explosion. The goon is certain that a level 0's magic will run out eventually. But through the smoke, an armored hand grabs his arm. The man can only stare in disbelief at the sudden counterattack. Itsuki confirms that even with multiple hits, the passive effect only triggers once. The goon tries to overpower him, boasting about his superior strength. But Itsuki looks completely unimpressed by the effort. He effortlessly twists the man's arm, sending him crashing to the ground. A system window confirms the defense boost is based on his original stats. The remaining goons panic, deciding to retreat as Itsuki spots his next targets. His eyes glow, asking if they really think they can escape. The last goon unleashes his own lightning attack, Silver Serpent. But Itsuki's Thunderbreaker absorbs it, boosting his agility. From above, Akira is stunned by his effortless victory. Itsuki stands among the fallen, wreathed in crackling energy. He realizes Thunderbreaker's passive works just like Black Wall. Iberia can only stare at the field of unconscious bodies. He grins, admitting he completely underestimated his new partner. The last conscious goon demands to know who he really is. Iberia chimes in with a creepy smile, asking, "Who are we?" Iberia proudly declares them the Double I, the future strongest duo. But Itsuki has no time for branding, dragging his partner away mid-speech. The defeated goon can only stare, calling their team name utterly lame. Elsewhere, a man with glasses notes the commotion, assuming the level 0 is getting destroyed. But he recognizes the crossbow, realizing it belonged to his subordinate Charles. He muses that few in the northern continent could have taken Charles down. Another contestant speeds by, boasting that his specialty is speed, but his sprint is cut short by a sudden blast of purple energy. He crashes to the ground, wondering who could have hit him at full speed. A foot slams down on his back, wreathed in that same purple glow. The man in red warns that this is the price for getting in his way. He orders his followers to conserve their energy for the next stage. From the sidelines, other contestants identify him as Kinoshita Reiji. He's content to let his underlings clear a path for him, a strategy that will let them reach the finish line with ease. He arrives at the central area, finding the journey almost too simple. But his moment of triumph is interrupted by a voice calling his name. His eye widens, a flicker of rage at the disrespect. His followers quickly deny it, pointing towards the source of the voice. And through the crowd, Itsuki and Iberia make their approach. Reiji's men recognize Itsuki as the rookie who's been causing a stir. His subordinate can't believe his forces were taken down by a level 0 and a level 7. His disbelief turns to rage as he vows to deal with the level 0 trash himself. Iberia admits to himself that he's been completely carried by Itsuki's overwhelming power. Reiji simply turns away, leaving his underlings to handle the cleanup. With a final menacing glare, he orders his men to take them out. The goons surround them, mocking the level 0 kid for his audacity. Iberia panics, realizing they're facing nearly 100 opponents. But Itsuki is calm, pushing his partner down and telling him to stay low. A wave of blue energy erupts from his position, pushing back the entire crowd. Reiji's subordinate stands his ground, crackling with energy. But the wave of force sends them all flying backwards. Iberia can only stare in shock at the display of power. Itsuki addresses the entire crowd of goons, vowing that until this is settled, no one is going anywhere. Meanwhile, other contestants have already reached the center, complaining about Reiji's tactics. They're stunned that despite their speed, others were even faster. The third and second place finishers are revealed, already waiting. But the first to arrive was Hanyu Kana, a powerful level 16. Elsewhere, Saya worries about Itsuki, just as her friend spots something flying their way. Saya watches from the finish line as Iberia is announced in 6th place. He lands in a heap, sent flying by Itsuki's blast. Rikuru can only call out his friend's name in shock. The name catches Saya's attention, and she turns to the source. She recognizes the silhouette standing defiantly against the crowd. It's Itsuki, who vows that this fight isn't over yet. From above, Akira wonders why the rookie is so obsessed with Reiji. A woman with glasses looks on, a hint of concern in her eyes. The commander tells Akira to intervene if the boy gets in over his head. But Akira admits that even he couldn't match that speed at Itsuki's age. Reiji's subordinate seethes, telling Itsuki to prepare himself. He declares this isn't a battle, but a complete subjugation. In other words, a 100-on-1 ambush, classic villain move. But for Itsuki, passing the preliminaries is now secondary. His only focus is avenging what they did to Choha. The subordinate screams the order for everyone to attack. The entire force descends upon him in a storm of elements. One of them lunges forward, unleashing a C-rank fire punch. But Itsuki catches the flaming fist with a single hand. He twists the man's arm with effortless strength. The goons try to rally, certain their numbers will overwhelm a level 0. A system window confirms his black wall blocked the attack, boosting his defense. But Itsuki decides to end this farce, activating his Lotus Burst. A fiery lotus erupts from his hand, unleashing a massive explosion that sends everyone flying. From the finish line, his friends can only stare in disbelief. Other contestants are stunned by the sheer scale of the attack. Even the first-place finisher, Hanyu Kana, looks on with concern. The host is baffled, questioning how a level 0 could wield such power. The woman with glasses realizes this explains his confidence in the Locust Wasteland. Reiji's subordinate wonders just how many tricks Itsuki is hiding. He stands alone in the aftermath, the only one left standing. His eyes glow with a cold light as he tells the man he's the last one left. The subordinate panics, unable to believe 100 men were defeated in an instant. Itsuki reminds him that he was the one who started this and he's here to return the pain. The man erupts in a storm of purple energy, boasting about his family's wealth. He declares they're on completely different levels and unleashes his B-rank skill. But as the attack launches, Itsuki's over-mimesis begins its analysis. He dodges the blast with ease, appearing right behind his opponent. The man is stunned by his speed, realizing he has no chance of winning. He desperately calls for backup, screaming for someone named 40. From the sidelines, a bald man with a glowing red eye rushes forward. The subordinate boasts that this new arrival is a level 35 awakened. But up in the observation room, Akira gets the go-ahead to intervene. Itsuki's magic detection picks up the high-speed approach. Realizing that more than one person is on the move, a massive wall of earth erupts, blocking the path of the reinforcements. Itsuki watches calmly, his plan already in motion. Akira slams the bald man into the ground, ending the rescue attempt. Back on the field, Itsuki tells the subordinate his help isn't coming. The man desperately tries to name-drop his powerful family, but Itsuki is completely unmoved, leaving him defeated on the ground. He declares that the score for Choha has now been settled. Up in the observation room, the woman with glasses looks on, completely flustered. Akira wonders why the rookie is staring at them, totally missing the obvious. Itsuki pauses his skill analysis at 99%, saving the power-up for the next stage. Just then, a familiar voice cuts through the rain, calling his name. He turns, a look of surprise on his face as he recognizes who it is. It's Saya, watching him from the finish line. She simply tells him it's time to head inside for the next round. She looks at him with tears in her eyes, telling him he'll catch a cold. The system confirms his 7th place arrival as they finally reunite. His old friends pull him into a tearful hug, relieved that he's safe. But the reunion is interrupted by a tense stare-down between Rikuru and Iberia. Iberia proudly introduces himself as Itsuki's new partner. Rikuru playfully calls Itsuki a traitor, while Saya notes his new social life. The two rivals immediately begin arguing about the logistics of their partnership. As they bicker over team names, Itsuki can only watch in silent agony. Iberia proudly reveals their duo name, Double I. Rikuru immediately collapses in laughter, calling the name utterly lame. The host's voice echoes across the arena, announcing the first stage is over. The next challenge is revealed, a solo survival trial against disaster beasts. The news of fighting alone sends a wave of panic through the survivors. But for some, like the 3rd-place finisher, it's a welcome challenge. A screen displays the top 7 finishers, a mix of familiar faces and new rivals. The survivors are led into a massive dome-like structure. They approach a series of gates, the entrance to the next trial. Rikuru asks Itsuki if he's still level 0, a question that's been on his mind. He presses for answers, but Itsuki explains his power is a closely guarded secret. The 2nd-place finisher steps in, reminding them that order breaker skills are classified. The tournament officials stand ready, asking if the contestants are prepared. Iberia looks on in shock, recognizing the figures on stage. The crowd identifies them as legends. Fujiwara Soryu, Hiton Akira, and Commander Izumi. Soryu steps forward to explain the rules for the 2nd stage. It's a point-based system, with kills earning more points at higher difficulties. After each kill, contestants get a 1-minute break before the next challenge. A confident level 13 elementalist declares he'll jump straight to Nightmare class, but Itsuki raises his hand, interrupting the proceedings with a question. The crowd immediately mocks him, assuming the level 0 wants to back out. The official, however, calmly tells him to ask whatever is on his mind. Itsuki asks if Nightmare class is the highest possible difficulty. The official seems surprised, while another contestant smirks at his question. The crowd scoffs, certain a level 0 couldn't even handle the easiest class. But the official explains that, theoretically, there is no upper limit. The others realize that even beating hard class would be a major achievement. The points earned here will carry over to the main tournament, meaning today's performance is critical for their future. Itsuki recalls the legend's record of 115,000 points. With the rules explained, the host orders everyone to enter the trial grounds. The 2nd stage begins, and Itsuki finds himself in a familiar arena. From the darkness, a dozen pairs of red eyes stare back. The system identifies them as Level 1 Mad Dogs of Calamity. He activates Black Wall, deciding to end this warm-up quickly. Up in the observation room, Akira questions the commander's focus. But Akira admits that this particular rookie is far more interesting. He can't understand why the commander is so surprised by the boy's performance. Down below, the entire pack is wiped out in a single second. The commander is stunned. A fight that should take minutes is over in a flash. He reasons that while the dogs were weak, the next opponent is level 8, a massive salamander that no rookie should be able to kill instantly. Akira is certain a level 8 beast will be a struggle for the rookie, but the commander tries to divert their attention to the other fights. He notes that most are still fighting on beginner class. His friends, meanwhile, are holding their own in the early stages. Only Hanyu Kana seems to be keeping pace with Itsuki's progress. But the woman with glasses suddenly panics, seeing Itsuki's screen. He's been completely engulfed by the salamander's flames. The commander wants to call for help, but Akira tells him to wait. Inside the inferno, he simply activates his black wall and launches forward to meet the beast head-on. He stands atop the fallen beast, having finished the fight in just 5 seconds. Akira is stunned, wondering why he took the hit on purpose. But Itsuki knows exactly what he's doing, farming stat boosts. His defense has already jumped to nearly 500. With no time to waste, he skips the break, eager for the next test. The commander notes that this stage tests a participant's combat sense. And the next opponent is a level 10 Aleki Rhino, a beast whose charge can pierce any defense, and its lightning attack can paralyze anyone who gets too close. Akira explains the only way to win is to fight with speed and cunning, but the commander watches in horror, realizing Itsuki has a very different plan. He calmly places a hand on the beast's horn, a truly baffling move. He sees this as the perfect test for his ever-growing defense. The rhino's eyes glow as it channels a storm of electrical energy. It lunges forward with its electrified horn, sending Itsuki flying with the force of its charge. The woman with glasses screams his name, certain he's been defeated. But Akira notes that while his actions are unpredictable, his results are always spectacular. A massive explosion of ice erupts from the point of impact. A system window confirms his Thunderbreaker absorbed the attack. With his test complete, he decides it's time to end this. He activates Thunderbreaker, his agility skyrocketing. The rhino can only watch as its opponent powers up. It unleashes another desperate charge. But the fight is over in just 7 seconds. Akira is impressed, realizing the kid isn't even trying yet. But the commander knows the next opponent is far more dangerous. A beast with razor-sharp claws that shred its enemies, and a giant mouth that can swallow anything whole. A massive body covered in a rigid, armor-like exoskeleton. Akira explains this is the ultimate test, the Nightmare class boss. A system window identifies the level 15 Inferno Giant. But Itsuki wastes no time unleashing his clear orb. The attack connects instantly, boosting his skill's speed yet again. The observers can only stare, their professional composure completely shattered. A system window confirms the orb's speed has increased by 900%. All of this is captured by the arena's ever-watchful cameras, as the officials realize the fight was over in just 3 seconds. And the next opponent, a beast of pure energy, is already here. Elsewhere, Saya focuses her power, determined to clear the beginner class. Another contestant, Uegaku, pushes forward, eager to be the first to advance. But Hanyu Kana is already done, calmly recovering her magic after clearing the normal class. A system notification flashes, confirming the Nightmare class was cleared in just 21 seconds. The other top contenders can only stare in disbelief at the impossible time. But Itsuki is already prepared for the next challenge, ready to move on. The officials are in an uproar, questioning how the Inferno Giant was defeated instantly. Akira grins, ordering them to raise the difficulty to see how far the kid can go. But Itsuki is unimpressed, realizing the only change is the number of enemies. The two behemoths lunge forward, ready to overwhelm him with sheer force. He decides to take out one of them while it's still roaring. His clear orb connects, and the system confirms another massive speed boost. Akira can't believe it, questioning if there's any limit to this power. But the commander notes that the skill has a fatal flaw. The remaining Inferno Giant charges forward with a terrifying roar. Itsuki is stunned, realizing this beast is faster than anything he's ever faced. Up above, Akira explains that their size is deceptive, but Itsuki is already preparing another counterattack. He unleashes his clear orb at the blurred, charging monster. Akira clarifies that despite their appearance, they are speed-type beasts, but the orb misses, the beast dodging with impossible speed. A system window confirms its stats are all boosted, with no magic to speak of. Itsuki can only stare, stunned that his attack was evaded. Akira notes the orb's slow speed, praising Itsuki's earlier surprise attack. But he knows that without more speed, the kid has hit his limit. The remaining giant lunges forward, its fist a blur of motion. The attack shatters the ground, sending debris flying everywhere. Itsuki is blown back, realizing the attack can be dodged from a distance. Akira assumes he has no other moves, but the commander isn't so sure. A confident grin spreads across Itsuki's face as he decides to close the distance. He activates Thunderbreaker, exploding forward in a flash of blue light. The giant can barely track his movement as he closes the gap. It swings a massive fist, hoping to crush him with raw power. The attack slams into the ground, sending a shockwave across the arena. The woman with glasses can only watch in horror. The commander panics, certain that even Itsuki can't survive a direct hit. But Akira calmly tells him to wait and watch. He knows that power is meaningless if it can't hit its target. The beast lifts its fist from the crater, finding nothing but dust. A calm voice calls out from below, confirming he dodged it completely. The Inferno Giant glares down, its eyes burning with rage. It scans the area, searching for its elusive target. But Itsuki is already above it, unleashing another clear orb. His eyes are locked on, a look of pure focus on his face. The attack connects, piercing straight through its armored hide. A system window confirms the kill and another massive speed boost. The fight is over in just 12 seconds, earning him 10,000 points. Up in the observation room, Choha erupts in cheers, calling out his name. The commander notes that it's rare to see his daughter so fired up. She gets flustered, insisting she was just worried for everyone's safety. The commander notes that his daughter has become quite talkative lately. He then asks Akira how he knew Itsuki would be able to dodge the attack. Akira explains that the kid's normal speed is about the same as the giant's. But when he activates his lightning skill, his speed increases dramatically. And once that happens, the Inferno Giant has no chance of ever landing a hit. The commander muses that he should stop now to secure first place. But Itsuki's only goal is to surpass the legend Teiwajin. He declares that he can't afford to stop for even a second. The next wave begins, 3 level 15 Inferno Giants. He immediately activates Clear Orb, taking out the first one instantly. Akira watches with a confident smirk, pleased with Itsuki's choice. The commander recalls that even Akira only reached Phase 4 once. He notes that even with his strength, Akira only cleared Phase 3. Down below, the second giant lunges forward with a furious roar. But Itsuki's clear orb finds its mark with pinpoint accuracy. He's already moving, using Thunderbreaker to close the distance. A system window confirms another massive boost to his orb's speed. With 2 down, he turns his attention to the final target. The last Inferno Giant lunges forward, its massive jaws open wide. Its eyes burn with a furious red light, ready to end this. The last giant stands its ground, a hulking mass of armor. But Itsuki decides to switch tactics, unleashing his Lotus Burst. The fiery explosion consumes the beast completely. A system window confirms the kill and another range boost. The fight is over in just 13 seconds, earning him 15,000 points. Up above, the commander recognizes the attack as the same one that wiped out the crowd in the first stage. But the massive attack has left him completely out of magic. He knows, however, that his magic detection will soon fix that. And right on cue, the next wave appears, restoring his power. The commander notes that if Itsuki passes this, he'll surpass Akira's record. Down below, Itsuki knows that with every kill, his clear orb's speed increases, and its accuracy improves right along with it. He realizes that with a few more boosts, he won't need to get so close to land a hit. But with his magic running low, he can't afford to waste a single shot. The beast roars, its body bound by massive chains. Itsuki's eyes narrow, noticing the strange iron restraints. The monster swings its massive arm, a blur of pure force. But Itsuki has already launched his attack, aiming for the head. The orb connects, and the beast is instantly defeated. But he's trapped, unable to move within his own armor. The beast's grip tightens, crushing him with overwhelming force. The impact sends a shockwave through his entire body. He's slammed into the ground with devastating power. He lies defeated in the crater, his body broken. The commander panics, ordering Akira to intervene immediately. But Akira can only watch, realizing the boy has hit his limit. He sees a reflection of his own past defeat in Itsuki's struggle. He turns to leave, deciding he has to step in and help. But the official stops him, insisting that Itsuki hasn't given up yet. The officials panic, certain that Itsuki is about to die. But the armored figure insists he still has a trump card. The commander is confused, but the man points to the boy's eyes. Those are not the eyes of someone who has given up. Down below, Itsuki activates his overmimesis, resuming an old analysis. He recalls the B-rank skill he copied during the first stage, and how he intentionally paused the analysis at 99%. Now it completes, leveling up his Thunderbreaker skill. The familiar blue lotus appears, but the commander questions its use now. Akira notes Choha's sudden smile, wondering what she knows. A system window details his new power. Thunderbreaker level 2. His hand clenches, crackling with newfound energy. He rises to his feet, his body completely restored. The system confirms it, a full heal and another massive stat boost. The blue lotus blooms beneath him, a symbol of his impossible recovery. He declares that the warm-up is officially over. A status window confirms his stats have skyrocketed once again. The commander can only stare, wondering how many cheat codes this kid has. He unleashes his clear orb, which now moves like a blur, taking out both giants. He clears the stage in just over 3 seconds, vowing that he's just getting started. A system window confirms another kill, boosting his clear orb's speed. He clears Phase 5 in under a minute, racking up an insane amount of points. The orb now moves so fast, the beast can't even react. Phase 6 falls just as quickly, his point total soaring ever higher. Up in the observation room, the officials are completely speechless. They can only wonder who the real monster is in this arena. Down below, Itsuki sits among the wreckage, pushed to his absolute limit. He gasps for air, wondering why the next wave hasn't appeared. The commander realizes the impossible has just happened. The system has run out of monsters to throw at him. The official's voice echoes through the arena, announcing that it's over. Itsuki has defeated every single inferno giant they had prepared. He's literally cleared out their entire stock of high-level monsters. Itsuki questions this, reminding them they said there was no upper limit. He wonders about his final score, confident he must be close to the legend's record. A system window confirms his clear orb speed has increased by a staggering 3,800%. His attack is now officially faster than your average sports car, so no speeding tickets for him. But just as he's processing his victory, a new presence appears. His eyes narrow, ready for another fight, only to realize he'd completely forgotten about his own familiar. He realizes that since he can't level up, all the experience he earns crystallizes into karma stones. Akira finally understands. His teammates would get all the experience. He shudders at the thought of a monster with this kind of power. With his test complete, Itsuki decides it's time to leave. The massive gate to the arena slides open. The commander announces his student's return. A system window confirms his final score, 106,600 points. The official, Soryu, immediately tries to recruit him, offering connections and resources, certain his teacher can't compare. But Akira steps in, telling Soryu to back off before he annoys the kid. He explains that he only stepped in to deal with Kinoshida's rule-breaking lackeys. Besides, he adds with a grin, Itsuki is Izumi's disciple, so he had to help. The news sends Soryu into a state of shock, barely able to process the revelation. Akira simply confirms it with a confident smile. As Soryu mutters in disbelief, Itsuki greets his teacher. The woman with glasses praises his performance, offering to have Choha heal him. But Itsuki insists he's just worn out, and a little rest is all he needs. The commander notes that his other disciple, Teiwajin, also cleared out the entire stage. He clarifies that back then, the maximum was only Phase 4, and it seems they'll need to expand it again. Commander Izumi tells the officials to observe, as the second stage has just begun for other participants. Rikuru finishes his hard class challenge, exhausted and unable to continue to nightmare class. Seiya struggles with her hard class opponent, running low on magic and finding the next difficulty impossible. The commander notes Rikuru and Saya capped out at hard class, surprised they didn't go further. Akira asks why they haven't exited, and the commander explains participants can't leave unless injured, unlike Itsuki. The commander observes that another participant has now reached the nightmare class. Ugaku, wielding a rare karma tool, slams a massive hammer down, confident he can take on an inferno giant. Akagami Shion, a Shikigami user, orders her familiar, Mi-chan, to transform into its complete form. The small familiar begins to swell, its eyes glowing red with immense power. It transforms into a monstrous, hulking beast ready to fight. The transformed Shikigami clashes with the Inferno Giant in a brutal exchange. Itsuki asks Choha if her familiar can do that, but she admits this is a rare power. He realizes the potential of his new hound and decides to start leveling it up. With his friends finished, he prepares to leave, but then he sees something new. It's Iberia, now clad in a suit of menacing red armor. He proudly declares it's the strongest epic karma tool his father ever made. A status window reveals its name, Dragon Gear, and its stacking stat boosts. He explains that the armor has a will of its own and chooses its master, but it comes with a 15-minute time limit before a heavy penalty kicks in. Knowing Itsuki's success, he's determined not to be left behind. He unleashes his full power. declaring their partnership to the beast. Itsuki offers a rare compliment, admitting the armor looks good on him. And with that, the host's voice declares the second stage is finished. Soryu explains that only the top 10 will advance to the main event. Ugaku is confident he's secured a top spot, already eyeing the special rewards. Soryu steps forward, ready to announce the final results. The screen confirms it. Itsuki is in first place with a score that dwarfs everyone else's. The other contestants are in an uproar, realizing he's surpassed even the legend's record. Ugaku's confidence shatters, demanding to know who this unknown rookie is. And Hanyu Kana, the second-place finisher, is intrigued, eager to face him in battle. Hanyu Kana can only reflect on the massive gap between her and Itsuki. The officials announce the final results. Itsuki is first in the nation by a landslide. Choha senses her father's pride, believing a new dawn for humanity is rising. Elsewhere, Iberia lies exhausted, knowing Itsuki's victory was a given. But he's proud he didn't shame the name of Double E. Wait, did they rebrand? Itsuki offers a rare compliment, admitting his partner surprised him. Iberia's reaction is a little intense. The 21st Salvation League National Tournament preliminaries are hereby concluded, with Itsuki carrying his partner off the field. The scene shifts to the South Continent, where a new power player watches over his domain. A soldier complains about being called out just to watch an old man. But this is Balgar, the prophet and commander of the South Continent. The soldier questions his foresight, wondering why they're never warned in advance. His comrade explains Balgar's visions are fragmented, just as the old man's eyes snap open in terror, and that his prophecies are only right 10% of the time. A truly reassuring statistic. He collapses, screaming that the North Continent is in grave danger. A massive beast assault is coming, with monsters over level 100. Back in the north, a quiet night settles over the city. And Itsuki checks his stats, which have now surpassed 1,500. He knows that normal awakened get 50 stat points per level, which means at level 0, he's already as strong as a level 30. His agility and defense can grow infinitely through passive effects, but he still lacks a way to boost his raw attack power. His thoughts are cut short by a familiar voice. His friends have prepared a victory feast for their returning hero. He decides to worry about his stats later, hoping to copy a new skill soon. For now, he's just happy to enjoy a meal with his friends. He looks around, noticing that one person is missing from the table. Choha explains that while Iberia is healed, he's still sleeping off his exhaustion. Rikuru is surprised that Iberia cleared the nightmare class they couldn't. He jokes about his cooking, but Saya points behind him in terror. A massive, shadowy figure with a single red eye looms over him. The creature's only demand is for food, a truly terrifying beast. But it's just Iberia, who collapses from hunger at the sight of the feast. Rikuru scolds him for the scare and for stealing his seat. Iberia ignores him, completely focused on devouring his meal. Rikuru seems intimidated by his partner's voracious appetite. But Iberia looks up with a happy grin, praising the delicious food. Rikuru proudly takes credit, glad to see his partner back on his feet. Iberia praises Rikuru's cooking, suggesting he should quit being an awakened. But the commander's voice cuts through the lighthearted mood. He asks the aspiring saviors what it is they fear the most. Rikuru answers first, explaining his dream is to travel and eat well. Therefore, his greatest fear is growing old and losing his senses. The very thought of it sends a comical chill down his spine. The commander then turns to Saya, who explains she grew up in a hospital. From a young age, she was surrounded by people suffering from terrible illnesses. She witnessed the true horror of diseases that had no cure. The experience left her with a deep-seated trauma and a fear of getting sick. She admits she once ran away from him just because he sneezed. But the commander reassures her that awakened rarely get sick. He then turns the question to Iberia, asking what he fears. Iberia explains his greatest fear wasn't failing the tournament, but not being strong enough to fight alongside Itsuki. He then asks Itsuki what he's most afraid of. The others lean in, curious to know what could possibly scare him. Itsuki begins to explain that after his parents died, he was completely lost. He was consumed by helplessness, anger, and sadness. He was alone in the dark until his friends found him. He recalls his friends trying to cheer him up as a child. He explains that their warmth pulled him out of that dark world. And after that, he met his teacher, Choha, and Iberia. He looks around the table, feeling like his family has grown. A rare smile crosses his face as he wishes this moment could last forever. He finally admits that his greatest fear is being alone again. Choha notes how peaceful he seems, so different from his usual unsettling aura. Iberia, overcome with emotion, tackles him in a hug, vowing to never leave. The commander explains that for a savior, Having regrets is the most unforgivable thing. He tells them to remember that a death without regrets is their ultimate goal. The commander tells them to rest up for their mission tomorrow. The next morning, his friends say their goodbyes, with Iberia already forming a surprisingly strong bond with Rikuru. As they head back, Itsuki decides to ask Saya his question later, but he's stopped by a sudden call for his teacher. The woman with glasses from before rushes towards them, arriving out of breath with urgent top-secret news from the south.
She explains the information is highly classified.
But the commander insists that Itsuki and Iberia can be trusted. She reveals a new prophecy. A massive beast assault is coming in 3 days. Iberia questions the prophecy's reliability, but the woman insists it's a confirmed future. Choha urges her father to evacuate the North Continent immediately, but the commander realizes he's the target, and therefore the perfect bait. She pleads with him to retreat, and Itsuki offers to fight in his place. But the commander's mind is made up, giving Itsuki a different mission. He orders the two boys to guard Iberia's father, the master crafter Aiden. Itsuki can't help but wonder if his teacher is trying to sideline him. The commander then turns to Choha with 3 final requests. She is to organize the evacuation and rally all high-level awakened, and with a look of grim resolve, he declares they will make their stand here.